There we go.
Hey everybody, how are my Ruby runners? Angela and I are here tonight because we want to talk to you about our stories. And we want to, keep it short and sweet. But what we thought is that we'll tell you our story and then we're going to leave it up to you to decide what the overall theme is. What are we trying to get across to you? All right, Angela, will you start with your story?
Yes. So 2 years ago in January, I started stalking Jesse a little on Facebook. We had gone to college together, weren't super duper close, but I knew her from college. And what really intrigued me was she posted the income chart, and she said she was a brand new Emerald, making a little over $1,000 a month, and it's just been such a blessing for her family. And I was like, interesting. If she can do it, maybe I can do it. So I reached out and talked to her on the phone, and she was super cheerful and excited and just loved to share. I could feel the genuineness of her story and her enthusiasm just through the phone. So I talked to my husband, and he's like, yeah, whatever, go ahead and do it. So I did it, and it was a 24-hour period. I was so excited. I didn't sleep for 3 days. And yeah, it's been such a whirlwind and exciting ever since. How about your story?
Yeah. So, okay, basically the mirror image of your story is mine. So my sponsor is Jennifer Thayer, and her and I had literally just been introduced to each other 3 weeks prior, became Facebook friends, and I saw her post her RAB results. And I was super intrigued because, let's face it, 3 kids, the tummy ain't what she used to be. And so when I saw that, I was like, I wonder if that would work for me. And I kind of just let it go for about 24 hours, but then I couldn't. It was just eating at me. So I sent her a message and I said, okay, I'll bite. What is this? And she kind of simply just said, it's a company called It Works. This is their signature product. And I actually don't know a lot about it. I joined yesterday. And yeah, and so she said, but we can learn together. And that said a lot to me too, because sometimes I think when you start talking to people about their business or whatever, they kind of are know-it-alls. And I think it says a lot that people are willing to say, you know what, I don't really know, but let me get back to you, or hey, we can figure out this together. So I told her, I'll be a loyal customer, and I signed up to be a loyal customer. And 3 days later, she posted a picture of the CEO and his family, and they were praying. And that hit a huge nerve for me in a good way. And I was like, all right, Lord, I get it. You're putting this in my lap. Let's do this. And I called her and I said, okay, I don't want to be a loyal customer anymore. I'll join you, but I really need to ask you some questions. And so my husband drove me to her house, and we sat for a couple of hours and talked about it. So again, I think what drew me is she is such a good storyteller through her words, and she's consistent and she's energetic and she's real in her posting. So that's kind of my story.
And I think that's interesting because I've had a few girls on my team that have said, have reached out to me just out of the blue and said, you know what, I've been following you for 6 months or 10 months. And I love it that you talk about being home with your kids, or I love it that you talk about something good that your team has done for others. And it just, she's like, one of my teammates in particular was just like, I look forward to seeing your posts every day because it's always so uplifting. And sometimes you don't get that when you scroll through Facebook. That's not what you're seeing.
Right. So, I too, in fact, I would say that the majority of my, personally enrolled team has reached out to me and then joined. But this February, I had a really interesting situation that I hadn't had yet. And that was that a girl contacted me and said that she had been watching me for a year. And we had been, we weren't even friends, but we were connected through a special needs group on Facebook. And so she had been watching my journey. And then I found out that she actually had, I think, at least for sure, one friend who was already selling it. And in the end, she decided to join me. And I know that one of those reasons was because I was local and her friend was not. And she kind of went back and forth, and she said, like, I love your posts. I love, this about it. And she decided to join me, and she was a complete stranger.
Yeah, I think that's such an amazing thing to say, is that you never know who's going to be on your team, but you just have to keep that in mind. Like, there could be someone out there that is watching that you wasn't even on your radar. So I think that's such a neat thing about social media and having that big of a warm market or a lukewarm market in some cases, is having those options out there.
So I even, I was just thinking about this too. One of the things that happened to me 5 days ago, out of the blue, I got a text. And it was from a guy that I had gone to church with 10 years ago. And and I'm friends with his wife. And neither one of them have ever commented or liked any of my It Works posts. And he, said, hey, this is so-and-so, and I would like to talk to you about your products. And I was like, wow, that is incredible. Because I will say, there are those times I post consistently, at least 2 times a day. And there are those days where I'm like, did everybody block me? Or it's just like you feel like nobody's watching you. And then that happens. And he ended up signing 3 days later as a loyal customer. And I just thought, wow, this is really incredible. And I could have totally turned him off with the way that I was doing things. But in the end, he became a customer because he saw how excited I was about this product, and he saw results. And
I just had a girl reach out today, as a matter of fact. Like, I quickly did a post about the BOGO Wrap distributor kit, and she sent me a text, and she was like, I'm thinking about doing this. She's like, I've been thinking for a while. I knew I did a party for her a couple of years ago, and she was a loyal customer, had 4 loyals signed from her party. She was a Pure Romance at the time, and then she did Herbalife, and she's like, I've just watched you for so long, and she's like, it seems like your team is so supportive and friendly and happy, and you guys are always commenting on each other's things, and it just seems like a good environment. And she said she had a couple of other friends that also sold, and she's like, I just like that you're so positive all the time on Facebook. So, like, yes, someone's watching.
And it pays off then, because there are those days where you could rant or rave or not post at all. And so I think, just making sure that we're consistent is an important key, because bottom line, and it's funny because when you join, they tell you these things all the time and you're like, what do they know? But they do. And that is, be consistent. Even if it is your worst day ever, put out there, having a bad day, but I'm so thankful for my greens because they gave me that extra bit of energy just to get through the day.
Yeah.
By ending it, it may have started as like, oh, I'm sick, more of like a downer post, but then you end it by saying, but my greens got me through. That ends it on a positive note.
Yep. So do you think we've given them enough hints? I feel like they should get it by now. So why don't you guys, if you watched the whole video and stuck it through, put some comments in there about what your take-home aha moment was. So
I think that's a great idea. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for, coming and joining in and running to Ruby. We are watching you and we're cheering you on.
All right. Peace.